Alright, and welcome back to the forecast card. 2-2 on the day. Honestly, I'm happy with that, the way these tournament games have been going. Chattanooga plus 3.5. Absolutely amazing second half. They looked absolutely terrible, 3 for 18 from 3 in the first half. Played no defense. I really didn't expect Bradley to be able to hang around for that long. They were shooting way too well. Duke wasn't doing shit. They basically had a bunch of bench players shooting 70% from the field. Unsustainable. Chattanooga locked in, ended up winning that game outright. Keep your points. Oklahoma State, that was probably the worst basketball game I've ever watched. That game came right down to the wire. They shot a 3 and then didn't count because they called a timeout, but the shot was probably after the shot clock anyway, so kind of, I don't know. But this disgusting game. Both teams shot a shit ton of free throws. Unfortunately, Oklahoma State misses 7 free throws. North Texas also did not shoot their free throws well. But they couldn't shoot the 3 well. Rebounds were equal. They had 19 turnovers. I expected them to have the turnover lead this game because they typically don't turn the ball over that much. So they could have played better. Again, really, really close. They were winning by 1 with like 3 minutes left. But then they got a technical, which ended up giving UNT like a 5-point swing, and it was just a bit too much of a deficit to come back from. But we had hope. Illinois State minus 5.5 ends up getting hooked. They end up winning by 5. This was just too shitty of a first half performance. Again, I still really liked the spot, but they're an elite 3-point shooting team, and they only shot 30% from 3. That was basically the difference. I really expected them. They did fine on the boards. Turnovers were about equal. Free throws. Again, fucking IDub shoots 86% from the free throw line. Illinois State shoots 75%. It just seems like I'm always getting screwed by some teams just shooting free throws way too good. Just a shitty game. And then Cleveland State 1/2. Pretty sweat free. I think they ended up winning the first half by like 7 points. I think they ended up covering the full game, but it was a bit sweatier. 2-2 on the day. 2 L's were really, really close. One was a hook. One was basically a chance at a buzzer beater win. One possession losses. It is what it is. Looking forward to baseball starting up soon. That'll be fun. NBA actually didn't go too bad. The lock didn't come through, but there was such a chalky day in NBA. It seemed like every single favorite won by like a significant margin. It was like a 3-point game at the end. I'll go into that in the NBA video, but the lock, which was Magic, I still think was the right side. And this game was really close at the end. It just became down to free throws and missed shots, which is always tough when you have a dog that's trailing in the final 2 minutes. Always a chance of like a 6-point swing and just free throws. But let's get into the 2/3 games today. There's no line out for the Cleveland State game, but I guess I'll kind of generally talk about it and what I think. All right, heading on to game number 1, we have Kent State versus Loyola Chicago. Now, this line is really sus to me. Maybe these teams have been playing faster pace in the tournament, but on paper, both these teams play at a slower pace. Loyola Chicago ranked 208th in pace, Kent State ranked 239th. So neither team necessarily rushes up the floor to shoot shots, don't play a lot in transition. Again, Kent State, a very inconsistent team. Loyola Chicago, both these teams top 100 defenses. Barely, not very good offenses. Loyola Chicago 144th in offensive efficiency. Kent State, definitely a team that does not shoot the ball well at all. They highly rely on their defense to win games. I think that's basically what's going to happen. I think we're going to get a really slow game. I have this modeled at 137, which is why I'm kind of, feel like I'm getting sus, like something I'm missing. But, 2 slow-paced teams with really good defenses on a neutral court. Both these teams are, long-term under teams. If you look at how Kent State likes to score, they like to shoot in the paint and mid-range. Loyola Chicago's top 50 mid-range defense, top 50 paint defense, and even then they're still a solid 3-point defense. Kent State might find success on the offensive glass, but that's basically where they're going to find most of their scoring. Loyola doesn't really turn the ball over too much. Kent State, not that great of a free throw shooting team, under 75%. On the other side, we have a Loyola Chicago team that offensively also really not that gifted. If you look at how they typically like to score, they shoot a lot of threes. Kent State a top 75 3-point defense, top 70 mid-range defense, top 100 near basket defense. They don't turn the ball over a lot. Loyola Chicago, terrible free throw shooting team, sub 68%. So if it comes down to it, I think free throws are going to be, probably in the 50 to 60% range for both of these teams. I don't think there's going to be that much scoring in this game. Both these teams defend what the other team likes to do. Not a lot of transition. One team extremely inconsistent. Both teams are playing with a bit of momentum, but that's more so with how they've been winning games. Kent State, a team due for a decent amount of negative regression. Loyola Chicago, due for some negative regression. Typically that's regression on the offensive end. Unless this game goes to overtime, I'm expecting a really low-scoring game. I think we're looking at like a 65-67 kind of game with Loyola Chicago winning, Kent State covering. So, I really like the under in the spot. The line's a little sus, which kind of scares me on it, especially since it hasn't really moved. But assuming I'm not missing anything, I think the under is the right side here. All right, heading on to game number 2, we have UAB versus UC Irvine. Now, I really want to find a way to back UAB here. This UC Irvine's a team that you don't really know what you're going to get from them. They're kind of scary to support, but they're also a team that has the ability to blow teams out. Just back off their defense. They're an elite defensive team. I would say they're not an elite offensive team, but they're definitely a much better defensive team than they are an offensive team. They're like a pretty average offense. But yeah, I'm expecting UAB here. UC Irvine an elite paint defense. But the one thing that they're really bad at is the boards. UAB a top 10, top 5 almost team on the offensive glass. They convert them really well. They get a ton of opportunities. And I think they're going to need them because, UCI is the second best paint defense in all of college basketball. And that's where UAB typically lives. So they are going to have to kind of rely on that. They're also a decent free throw shooting team, which is kind of why I'm only going to take the first half here. I think since UCI is the second best free throw shooting team in college basketball, if it does come to the very end of the game, I can very easily see UCI running away with this game. Kind of similar to how we, most teams lose, like we lost the Magic game, plus 5.5. Very similar, just free throws at the end of the game. So if you look at the power ratings between these two teams, again, UAB, historically a team that comes out really, really hot. If you look at their power ratings for first half, they're, a top 50 team in the first half of the game. And on the second half, they fall to 175th in power rating. Compare that to UC Irvine, who is a outside of top 100 first half team and has a second half rating of basically top 50. The UAB is just a much better first half team here. I think we're getting them on the road where they typically, like to be. UC Irvine doesn't really like to be at home. I think typically home teams lock back in the second half. Give me UAB first half plus 3. There's no lines available yet. FanDuel has plus 5.5 for a full game. So I'm expecting the 1/2 total to be 2.53. I like both, but I'm going to try to get this 3 on FanDuel whenever it decides to drop. Love the spot for UAB. I think UC Irvine ultimately wins this game and maybe covers with some backdoor free throws, but I think UAB comes out hot. They've been the better team in the last 10 days, last month really, and I think they find some success on the offensive boards. So, give me UAB 1/2 plus 3. All right, heading out to game number 3. There's no line yet. This game is just finished. Cleveland State kind of, threw away their first half lead, kind of blocking back in and winning this game by 4 to cover, or whatever the line was. Went by 7. Illinois State, not that convincing of a game either. That was I was expecting IW to kind of fall off a lot sooner. Playing 3 games in 3 days, you could tell they were absolutely gassed. Unfortunately, they weren't gassed enough for Illinois State to cover. Depending on what the line is, I think it's going to be like a 2.5 type of line. I think Illinois State will be favored here. I'll probably just take Cleveland State. Illinois State just relies way too much on the 3 ball, and their threes have not been falling in this tournament. The fact that they almost lost to IW, a team that's been exhausted and has less talent, kind of concerns me. I think Cleveland State's been playing the better ball, a bit more consistent, and it seems like they're more motivated for this win. So, I'd probably take Cleveland State plus 3, plus 2.5, whatever it ends up being, and sprinkle the money line. but not an official bet. I haven't really looked at the numbers for this game or the matchup, so just a lean. All right, so really only two bets: Kent State versus Loyola Chicago under 144.5, and UAB first half +3. Pretty small slate. Finally getting back to March Madness stuff on Thursday. Some pretty good games, some really fun games. This is kind of the only upside to how chalky this tournament has been, is that we're going to have some really fun matchups. We got Duke versus Arizona. That's going to be a fun game. We have Florida versus Maryland. That's going to be that's probably going to be the best game of the night. Alabama versus BYU, two high-scoring teams. Texas Tech, Arkansas. Arkansas maybe not as talented, but better coach. That'll be a fun game to watch. Yeah, I'm excited to see these games. But yeah, that's everything for today. The NBA video is probably going to go up in an hour, 2 hours. I still have to do all my analysis and stuff. So yeah, pretty solid day. 2-2, but could have been 4-0. Honestly, some really close games down the stretch. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow.